If you are on food stamps, I have breaking news. President Trump has stopped all SNAP benefits for the month of November. He asked the Supreme Court today to pause all food stamp benefits right now. And he did this after he lost in a lower court ruling. He went straight to the Supreme Court and asked the Supreme Court to cancel the lower court decision and pause all SNAP benefits for the month of November. And guess what? Just before I was about to record this video, the Supreme Court has done just that. CNN is reporting Supreme Court let Trump pause full SNAP benefits for now. So if you are confused about what is happening, I am here to break it down for you. We've been on a roller coaster ride the last 2 weeks with the administration and their position on SNAP benefits. And it seems like the president has changed his mind today, went straight to the Supreme Court, asked them to pause full SNAP benefits for November. And the Supreme Court has just done that. This is breaking news today, Friday, November the 7th. I am recording this at 9:55 p.m. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to take you to the Supreme Court article and explain it to you. But before I do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Wami. I am a government benefits expert. For 15 years, I've been helping seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. I create content on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other personal finance topics that affect seniors and their retirement. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am glad you're here. Do me a quick favor. Go into the comment section and let me know your city and your state, because I'd like to know where you guys are watching my channel from. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, welcome back. I am glad you are here. We have a lot to cover in this breaking news. I just saw on my phone and I knew I had to come and record a video and let you guys know what is happening, and most importantly, why your benefits are being paused. So let's read from CNN. So the Supreme Court has, on Friday, temporarily paused a lower court order that required the Trump administration to cover full SNAP benefits for tens of millions of Americans in November, siding with the administration on a short-term basis in a legal fight that has quickly become the defining confrontation of the government shutdown. The Department of Agriculture would not have to immediately honor a lower court order, which required it to transfer $4 billion to be spent on the program by the end of the day. The decision would temporarily put at risk the full benefits for millions of Americans who rely on the program to feed themselves and their families. So that is what is happening right now. The order does not resolve the underlying legal question raised by the case, and the administration has already committed to using contingency fund to partially pay benefits. Rather, Jongus, the Supreme Court Justice Jackson's administrative state freezes any additional action by the administration to give an appeals court additional time to review the case. Jackson is the justice assigned to handle emergency appeals from the First U.S. District Court of Appeals. So guys, we are back to square one. If you are wondering what's been happening, let me bring you up to speed. But I would need to go and find articles that can help explain what exactly is happening. So I am going to go to this New York Times article, and I think is going to explain exactly what is happening. So let me share that with you. Excuse me. And then we'll walk through it together, because this is going to have This is going to have consequences for food stamps for November. And if you think we've been on a roller coaster ride enough, you are going to be in for a surprise, because the administration is known to be fighting getting food stamps benefits to seniors and children, even though it's an obvious thing. So with U.S. aid in limbo, more states start paying full food stamp benefits. States are beginning to realize that the Trump administration is not going to pay full benefits for November. And with the latest Supreme Court decision, we know that is true. So we already know what the justice did. But let's go further. So the justice did not rule on the legality of the White House action. Instead, she imposed a pause meant to give an appeals court more time to weigh the legal arguments raised by the government as it seeks to withhold funding for the SNAP program during the shutdown. The order, known as an administrative stay, comes as a growing number of states, including New York, Kansas, Pennsylvania, and Oregon, said they had released full benefits to their residents anyway as they scrambled to restart the nation's largest anti-hunger program after weeks of delay. It remained unclear late Friday how the temporary hold imposed by the justice might now affect some of the benefit payout. The legal wrangling concerns the SNAP program, which helps roughly 1 in 8 Americans purchase groceries. For weeks, the Trump administration has repeatedly refused to tap ample reserves of federal funds that will sustain the SNAP benefits for November. So that is a critical thing here. There is ample reserves. There is money available, and the Trump administration has used this money before during the first Trump administration. They used the money before, but for some reason they are refusing to do it and are using every legal challenge in the book to make sure that you don't get your SNAP benefits. Now, I wasn't even planning on recording a video today. I had just come back from a trip and I just looked at my phone. I'm like, I got to get into the office and record this. So if you feel like you cannot keep up, I am with you. And here's what you need to do. I have thousands of people that are part of my text list where I send you breaking news as they happen. So text the word SNAP to 4432 930080. You'll be added to my list. You will join thousands of seniors and others that are getting 1 or 2 text messages from me each week, letting you know what's happening that could affect your benefits, your finances, your retirement in real time. And it is free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything to be part of the list, and it will keep you updated on all this breakneck pace of news that's been coming the last couple of weeks in this Trump administration. So that is the number you see on your screen. But here's the bigger picture. So how did we get here? Well, let me give you a little bit of background on how this all unfolded a couple of weeks now. So, this fight started with the Trump administration saying that during the government shutdown, they are not going to tap into reserves that previously they've used to fund SNAP benefits during a shutdown. And so a lot of experts came out and said, SNAP Contingency Fund is available for regular SNAP payment as USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the OM, the Office of Management and Budget, have ruled in the past. So in the past, they have used this money to fund SNAP benefits during government shutdown, but this particular government shutdown, they are refusing to do it because they want to use it as leverage. I don't know why starving people is being used as leverage and political negotiation tool. And so the administration refused to do it. And so a bunch of states took them to court. They were sued by a bunch of states that said, no, this is not right. You have done this before. Why are you refusing to do it now? And so they took them to court, and a lower court ruled that the states that took them to court were right and that the money should be used as intended. Like the court ruled that the money should be used as intended. And so let me give you some background here. So when they ruled, the Trump administration said, oh, we are not going to do that. First, they said they were going to obey the law. They were going to obey the court. And then last weekend, the president said he was not going to do it. So President Trump said he was not going to do it. He was not going to obey the lower court order. And then the White House came and said they were going to do it. And so earlier this week, we were all confused about what's happening. So I recorded several videos letting you know that I am not really sure what's going to happen. But here's what I know. I know that they said they were going to obey the law. They were going to obey the court, and then they changed their mind, and the president said he wasn't going to do it. And I take the president at his word, because if he say he's not going to do it, he's not going to do it. And nobody can challenge him just based on what we've seen. And I'm just reporting facts. I'm not trying to get into the politics of it, but I'm reporting facts. So this was what was reported after the president said he wasn't going to do it. This was what the media reported. Okay, so CBS News says this, after Trump post on SNAP Fund sparks confusion, White House says administration is complying with the court order. So the White House came out and said, well, what the president said wasn't completely the fact, and that this is the official White House position. Even though the president is the head of the White House clarified on Tuesday, which is Tuesday this week, that the Trump administration is complying with the federal court order that required it to tap into contingency fund to provide food benefits to tens of millions of Americans, after President Trump said the aid from the SNAP program will go out only after Democrats vote to end the shutdown. So the president was saying that he's not going to release the fund until the shutdown ends, regardless of what the court is saying. So that was Tuesday, and then we got news information that the administration was going to distribute 40% of SNAP benefits. Okay, they were only going to pay 40%. And then, we got information that that was incorrect. Okay, that the 40% they were going to pay does not add up to what they actually have in the reserve, and that the reserve, the money in the reserve, should actually pay 65%. Okay, so work with me here. I'm walking you through what has happened. So they said they're going to pay 40%. And then the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities did an analysis. And then they said, well, wait a minute. Administration won't spend all SNAP funds it says are available, leading to deep cuts for low-income households. So what happened was that the money they said was even available and the court has told them to spend. They were refusing to spend all of it. It was only going to give 40%. And so the Center for Budget and Policy Analysis kind of released a report saying, wait. What you're doing is going to cause a lot of seniors to get $0 or $12. And so today, I released my report telling you that this is what's happening. Because of them not using all the money, you're probably going to get $0 or maybe $12, especially if you're on Social Security or disability benefits, or you're working based on the analysis by the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities. You are likely to get $0 top, maximum $12. So that's what I reported today. And then this evening, a federal judge earlier today had told the administration, no, you are still not complying with my order. You are supposed to fund the entire balance. You are supposed to fund the entire SNAP benefits for November because you have the money and you can dip into money from other places to do this because you've done that for other programs. So they're paying other things. And I'm not disputing the validity of what they're paying. They've paid federal workers, some federal law enforcement workers. They've put money into WIC Women, Infant and Children Program, which is another nutrition program. So they found the money somewhere to do that. So I'm thinking that the judge is probably thinking, if you can find money from other places to pay other things, you can find the money to top up what is in the reserve and pay SNAP benefits. So the judge came out today and said you have to pay it. And so that is in the meantime. Remember the 40% that I told you the administration was paying? That is in violation of what they were supposed to be paying. Well, a report came out that said they finally corrected their error and that they've agreed that they made a mistake. And so now they are going to pay 65%. Okay, so this is all unfolding, like some of it is happening like the same day. And so like for me, it is so hard to keep up. That's what I'm telling you. If you want to stay on top of all of this and not miss anything that's going to affect your retirement, your benefits, and your finances, text the word SNAP to 432 930 You'll be added to my text list. You join thousands of seniors and others that are getting real-time updates and relevant information that I think you should know that is going to affect your benefits. It is free of charge. It doesn't cost you anything. So text the number on the screen. So as I was telling you, they made a mistake, or intentionally or not intentionally, I don't know. But the fact was that they were paying 40%, even though the money in the trust, the emergency fund, was going to pay 65%. So they were already cheating SNAP beneficiaries by 25%. So they came out and said, well, we made a mistake. So they say SNAP recipient will now get 65% of November food stamps, Trump officials say. Let me read that to you. So it says recipients of federal food stamps under the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program will receive a higher portion of their monthly payment for November than initially expected. An official with the USDA said late Wednesday. Patrick Penn, who oversees food and nutrition services at the USDA, including SNAP, said in a court declaration that the maximum allotment for food stamps beneficiaries will be reduced by 35% for this month instead of half. As a result, eligible Americans will receive 65% of their benefits, more than the initial 50% that states have been directed to implement earlier this week. The Justice Department said in a separate filing that the USDA realized an error after conducting further calculation. The department has notified states on Tuesday of the benefit reduction for November, but then provided new guidance and information required for states to calculate the food stamps available. So basically, I told you the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities made a lot of noise. It caught the administration's attention, and now they change it to 65. So that was where we were, and so 65 was what we're hoping will happen today. And then the federal judge said, no, 65 is not enough. We want 100%. If you found the money somewhere to pay other things, you can find the money to pay SNAP. And then that's when the president was like, no, I am not going to pay 100%. And so I'm going to the Supreme Court. And if you've been paying attention to what's been happening with the Supreme Court, when the president goes to the Supreme Court and wants an emergency order to stop something, in my experience, and I'm just stating facts, I'm not getting into the politics of it. I'm just stating what has happened. If you've been paying attention to the news, you probably know the same thing. If the president goes to the Supreme Court and says he wants something done and something paused, 9 out of 10 times he's going to get it. And so when I heard this evening that he's gone to the Supreme Court, I knew it. I knew it's going to be paused. And then a few minutes later, he wanted it done by 9:30. And at 9:30, they paused it. So that's when I showed you the report from CNN. It's a temporary pause, but it's a pause nonetheless. And so now all the news organizations are now reporting that. So I'm going to take you to the New York Times, which is also reporting the same thing. So it is real time. It is 10:12 p.m., November the 7th, as I'm recording this. And I'm about to post it right after I'm done. But I'm telling you, this is happening real time as I am recording. So everything is just in flux. I want to keep you updated on what you should know. So here it is. Supreme Court temporarily allows Trump to curtail food stamps funding. So right now, what does that mean for you guys? The New York Times also have another article that is talking about states are beginning to step in and do more. Okay? So states are paying full SNAP benefits. Some states. So I think that this legal wrangling is going to take a while. The government shutdown doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. So we will have to rely on states and food banks and religious organizations to step in and help during the month of November. I want you to feel and plan for not having food stamps for the entire month of November from the federal government and just rely on what your state is going to do, what your community is going to do, what religious organizations in your community are going to do, what food banks are going to do. That is where we are right now. Because if you're keeping your hope up, I follow this closely. I don't have any hope that it's going to be done for November. Eventually, I think you'll get all your money. I really do. I feel like once the government shutdown is resolved, everything will come, but it's not going to come in November. It's probably going to come in December or maybe January. But the point is that if you are waiting for SNAP benefits to hit your account this month from the USD or the federal government, I'm not sure about that because even they are stepping over themselves. They will say they're going to do something, and then the president is going to say no, and then they're going to say they're going to still do it anyway, and then the president is going to say no, and then they go to court, and then they don't like what the court is saying, and then they're going to go to appeal court, and then the appeal court is probably going to say no, and then they're going to go to the Supreme Court. Once he gets to the Supreme Court, you don't know what's going to happen. But the president's track record with the Supreme Court, this Supreme Court is very good. And so if he takes it all the way to the flagpole, 9 out of 10 times he's going to get what he wants. And so my point is that the government shutdown ending is the only thing that's going to resolve this. And in the meantime, there are a lot of changes that are happening to SNAP. They've put new work requirements. 5 million people are going to lose SNAP benefits anyway, regardless of what happens with this shutdown. 5 million people are on track to lose SNAP benefits, including a lot of seniors. That's a video I haven't even had time to record because there's been so much breaking news every single day. Sometimes I have to record 2 or 3 videos. I think Thursday I posted 3 videos, but that's what I've committed to do to help you guys stay updated. Anything in and out of Congress that's going to affect your food stamps benefits, your retirement, your Social Security, your Medicare, your Medicaid, I'm here to bring it to you live. So, before I leave, let's talk about Medicare because it's the weekend, and our partner, Chapter Medicare, is going to be open all weekend. I know a lot of you have been trying to get in touch with them to switch and get the peace of mind that I've been talking about regarding Medicare. Well, let's talk about that because I think this weekend is when you should make that call. If there's one thing you can get right in the midst of all this bad news, get your Medicare sorted out this open enrollment so that you can get peace of mind and join the 100,000 seniors I'm helping to find peace of mind about Medicare because you've earned it, and you might as well get the best out of it. Don't just take the plan you have now and renew it automatically. Medicare. A lot has changed this year, and you don't want surprises. And it's not just the premiums that have changed, the co-pays, the deductibles, the out-of-pocket cost. All that information have changed. And if you're on original Medicare and you live in certain states, now you need pre-authorization. So your original Medicare that you thought was problem-free, now they're trying to make it look like Medicare Advantage. So whether you're on original Medicare and you need to change your Medigap plan, or you are on Advantage and you need to change to a better Advantage plan, call Chapter today. Today's Friday, they're open. You can call them tomorrow even better. Saturday and Sunday, they're open. Call them at 539-2052-147. And here's the reason why there is so much happening changes to Medicare that is happening at a break. Like it is so rampant and so broad that a lot of seniors just don't know what's happening to their plans. And they are automatically just renewing plans, not reading the full details even in their annual letters. So what Chapter is going to do is that they're going to look at your plan and then let you know if you are in the best plan for you. Based on the budget that you have, based on the provider network you need to be in, your doctors, your hospitals, the prescription coverage you need, and if you're not, they're going to help you switch a better plan. We've sent over 3,000 of our viewers to them, and they've had nothing but great experience. A lot of 5-star reviews have come back, and these guys are the real deal, guys. They are here to help you. A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau, they can save you $1,100 on average on Medicare Advantage. But even if you're on original Medicare and you need your Medigap plan looked at so that you make sure that you save money, these are the guys that are going to help you. And here's the best part. The advice is free and it's unbiased. It means that they're not there to sell you anything. They're there to look at what is in your area of the 24,000 Medicare plans that are out there. What is in your area that will best serve you? So give them a call today. I promise you, you're going to have a great experience. And most importantly, you're going to have that peace of mind I'm talking about, which means that you've reviewed and compared your plan to all the plans that you are eligible for, and you've picked the right plan for you. So that come January, you can be confident that if something, God forbid, you have a need to use your Medicare, that you have a plan that fits your need and is the coverage that you need for your situation. And so give them a call today, 539-205-2147. If you want them to call you, then fill out the form at askchapter.org/insider. I'm going to put it in the description to this video. In the comments, I'm going to pin it, and you should call them today. So guys, that is what I wanted to share with you. If you like what you heard, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for joining me this Friday evening, November the 9th, November the 7th, at 10:19 p.m. I will see you tomorrow.